Get the gold star for quickest organisation. A group of 4. 2 people will lie down on their side, close to one another, but not too close, orientated in the same direction. The other 2 people will be first observers. So lying on your side, your knees will be bent up. You may need someone to be able to sit there behind them. So you need a little bit of distance between you. Between you. So the people who are on the floor, lying on their side, facing the same direction, are going to put their top arm over their head and do a comfortable over the head, to hold their, very well, you followed directly, over their head and hold their temple of the opposite side. And because you will be doing this a few times, you will need to do it the size and the speed that's comfortable for you. So you could do it for 5 minutes. Okay? So the people on the floor, you are going to lift your head with the help of your hand, and observers, you are going to look where you see this movement happening. So, first of all, I'm going to just suggest you stand up and you stand your full height and you stand at their feet. And you just wait a minute and you have a look. And maybe, clothes are a wonderful thing because clothes make creases. And creases tell you that there's some movement happening there. So what do we need to... Has this got anything to do with the banana? So you could look at, once you've had a little look at one person, you could have a little look at the other person. No, they're just lifting their head. Okay. Now, observers, you are going to sit behind the person you're observing and put your hands on them to where you saw movement happening. So you can go to find out with your hands what you can about how they're doing this movement. They keep doing it. And your hands are like a second skin. You're not trying to make them move or do anything. You're listening in a way that helps your partner sense themselves. Now, could you go to another place? So your arm is over the top of your head. If your elbow is forward, it's going to ask a different movement. And if that's difficult, can you do it more comfortably on the other side? Yeah, something under her head. I would put something under her head. Pads are better. Go to another place. So you're tracking their movement, following their movement. You are the passenger of the James Bond car. Are you using one hand or two hands? Would it make a difference? Could you go to another place? Somewhere else? Somewhere else away from their torso? So most people, if you haven't placed your hands on their ribs in several places, or their spine in several places, or their pelvis, you can stay on their torso. But most of you look like you've done that. So what about their knee? Does the movement reach their knee? Their upper knee or their lower knee? A bending point. Great idea. Can you see the bending point of the banana? But there are other things to see too. What pathway does their elbow take in space? Are they truly lifting on the side, or are they doing a lifting and turning movement? Anyone think of sensing what's happening on the underneath side? Their underneath shoulder, the ribs, their waist. Okay, rest a moment. People who've been touching, you can stand up for a moment. People on the floor have a mini rest. And then you're going to do the people on the floor are going to do the movement lifting their head again. You're going to sense another person. So you're going to change the person who you're following and trying to discover what's involved, what participates in the movement. Observers are sensing another person. Can the people lying change sides? Yes. Yes. People lying on the floor, if you want, you can change sides. Okay. Change sides. Okay. So observer, sensor, you can ask your partner to move, and then you're going to see where the movement's happening in them. Using your hands, you're going to sense where you can find movement or participation that's contributing to this action. So notice what plane they're lifting in. So people on the floor, we are looking for the side bending plane. People who are moving, you can notice the different contact, different touch of the person who's with you now. Do you sense yourself differently with this person following your movement than you did the one previously? And is your attention just where your hands are? Is it literally on your hands? Or can it be on them and keeping the image of the movement? With them keeping the image of the movement? So when our attention gets localized and focused, it is likely to draw the person with their attention into the same way, same mode. Okay, people who are touching, could you please stand up now and have a look at both people moving again? You got one over there? Yes, but you were in a group of 4. I'm teasing you. Okay, you just can't watch both. Oh, okay, so good. So you're just going to have a look at the people on the floor moving. Just see how they're moving now. Just, has anything changed? So the people on the floor aren't talking. You're just observing. You're going to talk about it in a minute. Now they're doing it again, and you're seeing, is anything different? Do you notice different things having used your hands? Do you notice if different things within the person? And how much of them is involved with the action now? Okay, and swap roles. Swap roles. Is that funny? A SWAT? Squat rolls. Oh, yes, we can do squat rolls. A group of 4, 2 people should be already lying on the floor. 2 people are observing. You observe several movements just to take notice of whether the movement is similar or different between your 2 movers. They move. Is the movement happening in the same places or different places? Awareness through movement. How much of them, each of your movers, is involved in the action? Some places move a lot, some places a little. And if you think of the shape of their spine, what sort of curve is it making? If you put a little light on the end of the elbow, would it have what sort of pathway would it make through space? If it was a little fireworks rocket. Doesn't mean you have to rocket your elbow up, but you know, okay. People on the floor pause, people are observing. Now you're going to use your hands to sense what's happening in your partner. You can think about what bones are moving where. So you were looking at and exploring your own shoulder girdle and scapula and clavicle. Was the scapula involved in this in a way that it moves in relationship to the ribs? There's 12 ribs, 12 pairs of ribs. Do all of the ribs move a little bit, or do some ribs move a lot? Or do no ribs move? So you can think that the action is lifting the head on the side, but how far away from the head can you sense movement? And is it different to sense that with your hands than it was to see? So check in with their knees and their feet, because as you're already learning, some things can be more easily sensed than they might be seen. Okay. All right, people on the floor, have a rest if you haven't already. And sensors, you can switch partners. Sorry, you're sensing the next person, or are you back to looking at them both moving again? Did you? Okay. You did? Okay. Sorry, I don't remember. My idea was that you'd switch and watch again at the end. So switch. Yes, you're touching, sensing with your hands. The other person in your pair, in your quad. So it's lifting the head on the side. She can. Can she? Good. That's it. That's enough. It's good. Oops. Moving again. And if you were to be asked the question, what do you need to be able to do to lift your head on your side like this? What do you think? Now that you've felt, sensed, seen, and everybody has a different level of ability, but what do you think you'd need to be able to do? Okay. Leave it, and you can talk about that for a few, that experience of being touched by two different people, what you sensed in yourself and what you sensed in each other. Hey, let's take a, oh, helps if I have it around my mouth, doesn't it? It's like the box. 5 minutes, and then we'll do ATM.